The laugh ricocheted off the walls like an ice pick. My brother's voice, sharp and venomous, cracked through the silence of the room. "I hope I never end up like him," he sneered. "Poor, no job, no kid. Also, his wife's the breadwinner." The room erupted in laughter. I felt the heat rise in my chest. My mother's laugh was high-pitched, her face flushed in that way she always did when she was drunk. My uncle's laugh was the loudest, like a boulder tumbling down a mountain. But it was my wife's silence that gnawed at me. She sat beside me, her eyes flicking to the table, not daring to meet mine. She didn't laugh. She never did. But she didn't stop them either. Not this time. I didn't react. I didn't even shift in my seat. I stared at my brother, his smug grin plastered across his face. The room, full of people I thought I knew, had turned into a minefield of mockery, their words like bullets whizzing past. But it was my brother's words that struck deep, the betrayal of it. I let the laughter wash over me, cold and calculated. A moment later, the bride stood up. The silence hit first. She was wearing a pale pink dress, the kind that swayed as she walked. Her heels clicked with confidence, but there was something in her eyes that caught me off guard. She didn't smile. She walked straight toward me, and for a split second, I thought she might say something ridiculous, something to add to the mocking tone of the evening. But she didn't. "I think they should know something," she said, her voice soft but firm. The room froze. Her words hung in the air, thick with tension, as all eyes turned toward me. I felt it, a shift I had never expected. Not from her, not from my brother's fiancée. The world seemed to slow, time stopped, but my mind raced. I glanced at my wife. Her face had gone pale, her hands now folded tightly in her lap. She was still, too still. I could feel my pulse thundering in my ears, but I stayed calm. I wanted to scream, to demand an explanation, to lash out, but I didn't. The words echoed in my head. They should know something. What was she talking about? For the first time that night, I saw something new, cracking through her confident exterior. She wasn't just standing there. She was waiting for the bomb to go off. What had she done? What had she been hiding? The last few months ran through my mind in a flash. Her late-night phone calls, the whispered conversations she had with him, the long hours she'd spent away from home. But I had ignored them, denied them. I told myself it was just work, that she was stressed. Now the words burned. I didn't move, didn't say anything. The silence was unbearable. Then, with a grace I could never have imagined, the bride sat down next to me. Her gaze never wavered from mine. She knew something I didn't. I felt the weight of the room on me, every person watching, waiting, and I finally knew. The drive home was eerily quiet. My wife sat beside me, her face unreadable. I didn't speak, I couldn't, but my mind raced. Her secret. It was there. I could feel it in the way her body shifted in the seat, the slight tension in her shoulders. And there was something more. The way she looked at me after the bride's words, her eyes avoiding mine, her hands gripping her purse a little too tight. She was hiding something. I needed proof. I couldn't trust my instincts anymore. I needed something solid. I took action. I didn't tell her, didn't ask. I quietly tracked her phone, checked her messages, her emails. I found what I was looking for. Her messages with my brother. The late-night ones, the ones I had dismissed as innocent. They weren't. There was a thread, an unraveling truth buried beneath layers of carefully crafted lies. She had been seeing him, my brother, behind my back, for months. It was cold, clinical, but it was all there. The proof I needed. I wanted to confront them, but I didn't. Not yet. I waited. I had the DNA test results, the message records, the emails. The truth was in front of me. It wasn't speculation anymore. I walked into the kitchen the next morning, my hand steady, my face cold. "Here," I said, handing her the envelope. Her face went ashen when she saw what it was. She opened it slowly, her fingers trembling. The words? Calmness in me was almost suffocating. She looked up at me, eyes wide with shock. "Why didn't you?" "I wanted to see how long you'd lie to me," I interrupted, my voice like ice. She flinched, her hand covering her mouth. The sound of her breath catching was almost satisfying. "I knew about you and James," I said, leaning back in my chair. "I knew about the meetings, the texts, the lies." Her face crumpled. The woman I had loved, the one I had trusted, broken before me. I didn't feel pity. I didn't feel rage. I only felt the satisfaction of watching the mask slip away. There was no dramatic confrontation, no screaming, no yelling. There was nothing to say. I stood quietly and walked toward the door. Before I left, I turned to face her one last time. "You were never going to win, Gloria. You just didn't know it." I could see the tears in her eyes, but I didn't care. It was over. I didn't need to fight. I had already won.